Ready, green lights on. Here it is. It is boom, 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 boom. We're going racing. That's right. April 2nd at Epcal Park. That's right. The Executive Air Park out in Hamilton, New York. April 2nd. Are you excited? Oh, well, so am I. Definitely am. All right, let's get a little tomato talk music going here because, I got so much to tell you about that one. Really excited about it. So here we go. There we go. We're back again. That's right here on Tomato Talk. Top of mind, advancing through obstacles. Oh, and I know what you're going to say. Well, oh my God, we got racing going on. First time, actually, second time in 17 years. Last year, they did it for the very first time to see how it would work out. It worked out great. Every event was sold out. It was fantastic. Only one day there was a little bit of rain, so that kind of like got in there. Who attended? Oh, I'm going to show you some photos about who attended, but it was unbelievable. Big thank you to the town of Riverhead. That's right. The whole township of Riverhead got behind this whole thing. The town board figured out how to make this thing work. Pete Scalza, the track operator, made it work. Long Island needs a drag strip. That's these folks right here. There we go. Long Island needs a drag strip. Man, what a dedicated crowd. Well, when I've said that with a bunch of organizations, speak about that kind of frequently. Sometimes it's not so much the organization, it's the people within that organization that make it work. And these people are just unbelievable what they do. Now, Pete comes to this from the operating of a racetrack standpoint. The Long Island needs a drag strip. These are folks over here. Pete was actually from here originally, too. But those folks that are part of the Long Island needs a drag strip, dedicated, without a doubt. Dedicated. They hold a car show on a weekly basis, which starts up in April also. That's at the Mount Carmel Church over in Patchogue. You got to get down there for this thing. I went down there for the first time last year. Hundreds of cars. And I was like, I went over to them. I was like, wow, this is a fantastic turnout. They're like, nah, you ain't seen nothing yet. I was like, wow, something else. And I'm showing up with my camera. I'm just having an absolute ball with this whole thing. And the night I went was after we had Pete and Dennis Catoni, on one of the radio programs over at JBC Broadcasting. So thank you guys for making that work. Jay was on his program with Jay in the morning too. So really excited about that. But the point is about these folks. I mean, here they are. These are cars that are being built by them. Most of them, this is a hobby. It's a hobby. Some of them are professional racers, without a doubt. Many of them have different kind of automobile shops, so companies that are involved within the whole arena with this. So there is that side of it, which absolutely makes sense. But they're out there, they're just doing this and they're having a ball doing it. And I can tell you, look, to talk about the integrity of these people, when they're at the church for the car shows, signs all over the place. Man, no speeding, no nothing. You got to take it easy, pay attention to the noise because it's right in a residential area, all that stuff. Fantastic. What they're doing each time too is that you go there and as a spectator or as someone who's showing your car, you're paying to do that. You're making a donation to do that. Donation goes to the church. Food donations goes to the church. The churches, they're using the church parking lot, once a week at night. So there's no services going on, but those people are there. They're raising money. They're raising, donating food, all for a very, very, very good cause, and they're having a great time doing it. And they are also getting this message out about how important it would be for Long Island to have a drag strip track. And that's where I kind of fell into this whole thing. It was a number of years ago. I had met with Dennis Catoni in the Long Island Needs a Drag Strip. Saw that they put out a report that was sponsored or conducted actually by U.S. Motorsport Association. And they were talking about the impact that a drag strip would have over here. And there's a couple of reasons why a drag strip absolutely, in my humble opinion, makes sense to have. One, they looked at the economic impact from Long Island standpoint, the whole of Long Island standpoint. And that is the fact that it becomes another reason for families, and you'll see these photos, man, I'm not kidding, but it becomes another reason for families to come and visit, vacation, stay on Long Island. And when they do that, when they do bring the families, they're staying at hotels, motels. They're eating out at diners, restaurants. They're taking food over to the track. So that's the delis. Obviously, the gas stations. That all is a benefit. And then, of course, the aspect of it's a family event. You'll see these photos. No kidding, man. It is an absolute family event. Everything from the kids, and there was a whole mess of kids that were over in the stands, the family showing up to grandmas. There was these two women there. They were the best. Grandmas that love racing, and they have the T-shirts on there. And I was like, where in the world would I ever see that again? Well, it turns out Riverhead Down Hall. I went down there for one of the nights. I made my spiel as to why I thought it made sense, which is what I'm about to tell you right now. And there's Grandma. She's out there and she's supporting the idea of a racetrack. She just loved the whole thing. And it just so makes sense. So is the economic impact. This is what I spoke to them there too. Economic impact. What about all of these people that are going to then take their cars and come down there and race their cars on the weekend? You think there's real money involved here? Well, there absolutely is, because without the drag strip, and this is where it became very real to me too, because I had a conversation with many people, about this, because I don't race, I don't do this, so I am an outsider looking in. So I asked a bunch of questions. But what happens here is that, and you'll see some of these cars that they're racing there, they're not street legal cars. They were modified for this racetrack and stuff like that, but they're not street legal cars, which means they're on the back of a trailer, and which means that when they go over the bridge, they're paying all kinds of tolls to get over the bridge, $100 or more, depending upon what the setup is. Then also, when they're going, if they're going to go race on a Saturday or a Saturday and a Sunday, it's an entire weekend away from the family unless you bring the entire family. You bring the entire family, it becomes an expense. There's a lot of money that these people are spending elsewhere, and that's New Jersey, Connecticut, upstate New York, Pennsylvania. And their comment to me about this is like, well, wait a second. If you're spending that much money to go out there, besides the money that they would save because now they can have breakfast at home, race the car in the evening, and then come back and have dinner and do it all over again the next day, and what they're paying for spectator fee and race fee, it's $50. It's roughly $50 for the car and driver. It's a lot less money than traveling over the bridges. But now I'm thinking about it. Well, you're going to save that amount of money coming over here, but what about these other folks? What is the possibility of the folks that are in New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Connecticut, upstate New York, to come down here, to then spend the weekend over here? And whether they're coming in and bringing a camper and staying in the camper, or if they're going over to a hotel or a motel, or if they're going out to eat someplace or bringing their own food and needing to go to a deli to go pick up additional items, or maybe they're going over to one of the other entertainment areas that are a little bit more family, that includes the rest of the family, such as, let's see, we got Splish Splash right around the area, Long Island Aquarium right down the block. The town of Riverhead is unbelievable with what they're doing over there. That's the town of Riverhead. And then you also have the golf courses, the beaches, the wineries for a little bit more of the adult situation. Wow. Now, could you imagine? I could. A family that's interested in racing, making a vacation out of it. They come down there 2 days for the weekend of racing, maybe stay for a few more days, Maybe they just race one day and they enjoy some of the other aspects of Long Island. Great stuff. Who benefits from this? Besides the obvious food, gas, hotels, ferry system, people coming in from Connecticut, maybe people fly in for it. Who knows? It's possible. It's possible. You might think, oh, well, that's kind of crazy. But then again, the medley beat the heat medley chapter. They're taking their cars and they're going to drive the cars, put them on trails and drive up. But they're driving all the way up from Florida. So how many people from how far away would possibly attend something like this to make a big vacation out of it? I'd say quite a bit. And also, it's another one of those little feathers in the hat when it comes to reasons to go visit Long Island, especially during the summer. Especially during the summer. That's great. So you got the economic impact. That's a big deal. Economic impact. You also have the economic impact from a tourism standpoint. You also have I'm going to go with the economic impact from a business standpoint. Business standpoint. So what does that mean? Actually, talking a bit about these different automotive shops and things like that, the vocational aspect of it. All these automotive shops have one, welders, two, artwork, three, even event planners, four, all these different side organizations that are looking for employees. Well, if we're looking for employees, we have something like this. Don't you think that a drag strip track over here might make the automotive program at Suffolk Community College a little bit more exciting? And one that is actually supported by Tesla that offers a limited amount of paid internships? And what about the videography classes that are in many of the school systems and the other automotive programs in many of the other school systems? And what about all those other programs that you might necessarily think that fit into it, but perhaps do? Plastics, composites. You'd be shocked at some of the outstanding businesses over here. They're in the composite business. They're looking for employees. Welders, unbelievable careers. If you're in shop class, 10th, 11th, 12th grade, and you're welding one of the sheet metal on these cars, and you're really good at it, you got a real big career ahead of you. And not just in the automotive industry, we're talking about in the aerospace industry. I put in handrails in a house. Let me rephrase that. I paid somebody to put handrails into a house at one point in time. They were metal handrails. The welding on that was beautiful. Somebody had to do that. Somebody had to do it. Somebody had to really love welding and be really good at it to do that, to make that pretty weld. And it wasn't that it was sanded down. It was the weld. A lot of stuff going on there. So you got the vocational aspect of it, the tourism from that aspect of it, and just the overall great entertainment factor. And who knows? I mean, maybe that entertainment factor is going to be a little bit more far-reaching rather than just, hey, it's a beautiful day, let's go out to the races. Maybe it'll take some of these folks that are racing cars in places they shouldn't be racing cars, and they race them on a track. Race track, not street. It is a big-time reason why Pete chose that name. Racetrack, not street. It's where they're racing on a track, not on a street. Beat the Heat. You got to look that one up. Beat the Heat. Beat the Heat is actually a program that got created years ago by the police department. So the idea there was that the police would take these retired police cars or cars that were confiscated by people that were doing bad things, but cars that were confiscated, they turn them into police cars, police-looking cars, and they race them down the track. And you get a chance to race these cars down the track. If you beat them, if you beat the Heat, you get a T-shirt. That's great. That's fun. But the other aspect of it is the community relations that get built up also, because the police are now interacting with the community in a way that's just totally good. There's nothing bad about it. Just totally good. Talking about the cars, the speed, the handling of the cars, especially on an 8th-mile track. I didn't realize that. We won't I'm not going to have the time to really get into that aspect of it. I want to show you this slideshow that I put together. But there's actually a technical aspect of this thing, and not just the car, the driver. The driver. How fast do you go? It depends on how powerful your car is. And those that are more powerful actually need to start slower to go faster, as opposed to the other way around. I'll show you one picture. It's a Tesla car. That car just went. Traction control, all the rest of it, something, boom, flew down the track. Flew down the track. Telling you, really great stuff. And yes, in case you're wondering, there is a speed limit. I think it was 115 last year. I think it's 125 this year. So that's it. Eighth mile track, all good. So the track in and of itself, though, just so you know, real big picture over there, especially if you've never seen this before. One, it's an eighth of a mile. You see everything. You're right up close. Two, there is a concrete barrier in between the spectators, actually on both sides of the track, but a concrete barrier in between the spectators and where the cars are racing. So you got, it's all kind of protection. If a car does get out of control and it hits that concrete barrier, it'll slide down the concrete barrier. It'll do damage to the car, of course, but it'll slide down the concrete barrier. So you got safety issues all right there. Spectators are everything. I'm telling you, man, from kids all the way on up. Actually, the drivers are kids all the way on up. I'll show you that photo too. But so you get the spectator stands that are there, bathrooms. The whole thing is portable, which is really kind of cool about this. This is not a permanent track. It's on one of the runways, utilizing one of the runways. This is at the old Grumman Airfield that was sold to the town of Riverhead. It's now Epcal Park and Executive Air Park. But those runways have to stay as runways. They can be used temporarily for other things, but they do have to permanently. My understanding is they have to remain there permanently as a just in case runway. So everything that is brought in is temporary. So the stands, temporary. The concrete barrier is temporary. Bathrooms, porta potties, temporary. Food trucks. There'll be a multitude of different food trucks. I got a picture of one of them. Soul food. Oh, I had a shrimp po' boy on that one. So it was really good. Really good. My only suggestion is don't eat it while you're in the car. You need a little bit of room to keep the sandwich under control. That was absolutely fantastic. So if you know those people, make sure you get them that message. I think that was great, and a number of other food trucks too. So all a whole lot of fun. So really, you got three different aspects of this thing that I love. One is the economic impact of it. It's good for Long Island. There'll be good money coming in over here that will not just be race car engines. It's going to be the hotels, food, entertainment, all the rest of that stuff. Vocational aspect. I think this is an unbelievable catalyst when it comes to that vocational side of things, to get more and more of our students, our high school students, college students interested in sport that they can really participate in. Because you don't need a full-blown race car for this. You need some safety equipment over there and a helmet, but that's it. And it doesn't have to be a street legal car. It's got to be safe within the constraints of the NHRA rules. So it's got to be a safe car, not necessarily street legal. And it can be decorated with anything, done with anything, built by students. I love that idea. Love that. So it could really, really support some of the vocational aspects of this thing in automotive, aerospace, plastics, event planning, videography, so many places, man. It's just like unbelievable. Really great. And then the other one is the community relations. Man, again, that's a big possibility over there. One that I would love to fully explore. So I could really use your help on that one. If you know anybody that really is interested in the Beat the Heat program, the police community relations, that kind of stuff, that's a conversation I'd love to have. The rest of that stuff been spitting out. HIA, they've been fantastic. Last year at the October trade show, which was done at the Dennis Catani, Bonnie, and a few others, George Cisnak, brought down their cars, race cars. So we showed that stuff off. The schools, Patchogue Medford School, Oceanside School was there. A number of folks from a few of the other school systems were there too, getting a chance to meet not only with what's going on with the drag strip, the Long Island Needs a Drag Strip team and the rest of that, but also to meet the manufacturing committee, to meet the manufacturers on Long Island that are looking for employees. And that was just an incredible event. So May 26th, just as an aside, that's coming up again. May 26th at the HIA trade show. This was at Suffolk Community College Brentwood campus. And the Suffolk Community College Automotive Program is actually sponsoring the drag races. So there's a lot of tie-ins on the whole thing. But I mean, that is a great opportunity for the Long Island drag strip folks to talk about the vocational aspects of this thing right at the trade show, which really helps out us because look, the more we can have our students of today working on Long Island, that means our businesses that are here that are looking for employees will remain here because they have the employees. And these are not just jobs, these are careers, and they're good paying careers, which means that more and more of our youth, that next generation stays here and continues to live here, continues to prosper here. And that's really so much of what it's all about with other aspects of the whole thing. But that's really it. That's it. All right, so now what do we got here? I got that. I want to show you these slides. This way you get an idea. And this is something that I've done new. So I'm really excited about that. There we go. Yes, yes, yes. I can get the comments here too. Let's pull them up. Hey, Doug, good afternoon. Mike, good to see you. Yeah, that's right. I'm going to be announcing this thing this year. Last year, I volunteered. Pete had put up on a Facebook post because he's looking for someone to help out with the announcing. Does anybody want to volunteer? I'm like, count me in. I was like, I don't know anything. He says, okay, he'll teach me. So there's your opportunity. There's your obstacle too. I didn't really know anything about announcing drag racing. Build cars. I don't know that stuff. But I said yes, and I learned. And this year I'll be out there, part of the announcing team for the Long Island Needs a Drag Strip racetrack, not street, at Epcal Park. That's right, beginning April 2nd, 5 weekend days in April, and then we'll pick it up again in August. Very exciting. So here's my obstacle there too. I want to make this a live stream event, which means I need to get it sponsored. So it'll cost money to get all the video cameras in place and all the rest of that stuff. This way we could broadcast it out. There's a big difference between announcing half the thing where people can see what's going on versus broadcasting it out where people can still see what's going on. So that's my big ask out here. And I got a few phone calls out in order to make that happen, but I really could use your help. So that's great. Triola, there you go. Thanks for joining us here today. I do hope I pronounced your name right there, but just know that it was with good intentions. All right, so here, let's go take a look. Racetrack, not street. So what you're looking at over there is the man that pushes the man that starts the race. The man that starts the race. He gets the cars line up, and there they go. And that's just a sign over there of what it looks like from the starting area. Next slide. There we go. Okay, so here's the dates. Racetrack, not street. That's the RTNS. And if you want to look up the website, it's Racetrack, not street. So spring series. So we're going to go spring, summer, and then fall. But the spring one is April 2nd, 3rd, 9th, 10th, and 16th. So you got 5 days in April. Then it takes a break because you have, I think it's bird nesting season. So don't want to get, nobody wanted to interfere with that. And then we pick it up again August right through August through September. Then we get a 2-week break in that one. And then the end of September right through to October. So that will be a whole lot of fun. So we're going to do what we can in April from this video standpoint, but I want to make it really work in August. That's the goal. That is my goal. That's the big obstacle, which I want to shrink down and make it a little bit less than that. So there we're at. If you want to attend, you got to get tickets. And here's why. It will sell out. And I'm not just saying that because, but it will sell out. There's a limitation over there. Only 2,500 spectators, only 2,500 attendees at each of the race. 2,500. That includes the driver, the folks that are there as part of the driver's team. And it also includes, obviously, all of the spectators. So it will sell out. And that is one of the reasons why I want to make this a live stream event. This way we could bring it out to everybody else so you can see what's going on. And there's so many businesses, as mentioned before, I think, that would benefit from getting the name affiliated with this thing. Again, they got the tourism side of it. That's a big one. The vocational side of it, perhaps some of the schools, and also a number of businesses is still, the racing community. But this is a racing community that travels and spends a couple of dollars on these cars. All right, so here we go. Ready? We use race car boy. We use announcer voice here. This is good. Hey, Doug, you should know too. Fully accessible, my friend. Fully accessible the whole way through, without a doubt. Great stuff over there. Maybe you should get bring that up with somebody else too. That destination accessible. All right, here we go. Ready? And food truck, soul food. I mentioned before that shrimp po' boy. That's it, right there. Oh man, it was so good. Family affair. Absolute, positively a family affair. Or it's on the weekends too, so everybody can come down. But they had the kids there helping out with some of these sauces that were on the side, cups, plates, napkins, all the rest of that stuff. The whole team was there. Really terrific, and the food was just spot on. It was great. It was really great. Eagle Chevrolet, one of the sponsors. I know they're back again, and I can tell you with these photos, it's easy to take these photos before the crowd gets there. So in the morning I was doing that. Later on in the afternoon, I got involved with the cars. But Eagle Chevrolet, and I think they'll be back again this year. Let's see. Oh, all right. Now, what are we talking about? Here we're talking about some of the drivers have been doing this thing for years. The gentleman that drove that car has been racing that car, or he's 78 years old. I don't think he's racing that car for 78 years, but 78-year-old guy, man, he's still ripping down the track. Had a ball, and he's a walking history book with everything that's on with all the racing that took place on Long Island, and in some of those places where it shouldn't have taken place, besides on the tracks. But did you know that there were racetracks on Long Island that were dirt? You probably would have guessed that. But there were others that were plywood, wooden boards that were the track itself. I think that was over in Roosevelt Field. Did you also know that one of the first automobile races took place on Long Island? That's the Vanderbilt races. That's right, the Vanderbilt races. And there's a story there too. I'm not going to have enough time to go through that story, but remind me. Maybe we'll come back and do that one again. Some of the other cars. Now, we mentioned before too that some of these cars are street legal, some of them are not. This one does not look like it's a street legal car. I don't see that license plate over there, but beautiful car. Beautiful setup on that one. Now, this one is a street legal car. That's your Tesla. That was driven by our guidance counselor at the Pat Jog Medford School. Man, she did a fantastic job raising data. She also came over to the HIA trade show last year too. Great stuff. Wonderful person. Absolutely wonderful person. Now, here, this is why I mentioned about the video. Look at that. Is that beautiful or what? So, could you imagine a high school, the whole school kind of getting behind something like this? What do you think that would take? Well, that's not exactly school issued paint, so we need sponsorship. They would need sponsorship. Interesting. Obviously, that's a lot of customization on the metal over there, the engine, the wheels, all the rest of that kind of stuff. So the amount of people involved in that would be the sheet metal. The folks now would learn how to read blueprints, the engine work. Okay, absolutely. So you have that aspect of it too. The artwork, phenomenal. And of course, you need a website, don't you? Because you got to promote this thing and then thank all those sponsors. And somebody's got to take this photo, and perhaps a better photo than the one I took. But now you got that too. Hey, maybe somebody would even want to fly a drone and watch the cars go down the track. But you know, want to know something? You actually can get a certification for flying a drone, and taking photos. And there's a career there too. So many careers. So many careers. Oh, 29 minutes in here. Now, this one is a street look. This guy was so excited that I bought the t-shirt. He loved that car. Reminds me of a friend of mine had that car back in high school. That was a couple of years ago. This guy kept it in great shape. Really phenomenal. Drivers meeting. So for those that are, actually anybody who's going to be driving their car down the track, you're attending that meeting. And that was good. That's Tom Wilson that's explaining that one out. Then these are the cars. They're all lined up, getting ready to go. And look at the variety of cars. We have some cars that are see in any parking lot. Few, maybe not. Few you would see at the different car shows, and etc. It just continues on. And that little car to the right over there, what in the world is that? Hey, that's what it is. That's a junior dragster, my friends. Those kids that are driving those cars are going down that track. I think it was like somewhere between 50 and 60 miles an hour, which is pretty darn quick in something like that. I got to tell you, especially it's only an eighth of a mile track, and they're as young as 6 years old. 6. Let's see. And they only race against each other and that kind of thing. This way, it's size. The vehicles are about the same size from a safety aspect of it. You got 6-year-olds racing on the same track that a 78-year-old guy is racing on. Fantastic stuff. This one is actually one of my favorite pictures. Hey, before these cars get started, they got to, burn a little rubber, make sure the tires are as sticky as possible so they grip the track. And there is no additional chemicals that are being used to make the track sticky. So if you would watch drag racing on TV, you see that the track is all black. That's like this sticky stuff that they put down there. This is not going to be the case over here. Again, that's an environmental issue. Finish line. I've yet to figure out how to take photos of cars at the finish line and make them clear. But that's when the two of them went past. And that's probably one of the better of the pictures I took with both cars at the finish line. But still working on that one. And that's where that one's at. So it's I got to tell you, a lot of fun doing this whole thing. So let's scoot back to, let's remove that. And we're back over here. So we're at 30 minutes, 31 minutes. So we're going to end it over here. But I want to let you know, there's so many possibilities with this, with the drag racing, and with these people, with the car shows, and all these car shows, whether it's something the Long Island Needs a Drag Strip does or the others, they all have some charity component that's a part of it. All of them do. Age bracket on these things is just all over the place. The quality of the cars, the car shows maybe, it's probably all over the place, with that. Obviously, if you're showing off your car, you put the energy and effort into the whole thing. But the folks out at the drag strip, you've got the carpool car going down the track just as much as you have some other cars down there that have got parachutes on the back that are normally going down a quarter-mile track, but they've been modified to use this track. In other words, all these cars have to have mufflers too. This is a noise consideration. So it is there. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. So what do I want from you on this one? What's my obstacle? One, I want to make this thing a live stream event. I'm going to do what I possibly can for April, but I would love to get some help as we go into August to make this thing work. It'll take some dollars. It'll take a crew to make it work. Help me make this thing happen. Man, it would be just golden. Absolutely golden. Getting the word out. Again, it'll be sold out in that respect. So I think, that side of it is going to be fine. But if you know somebody that wants to race a car someplace legal, it's a great place to do it. It's just an absolute great place to do it. And they don't just go once. They go time after time after time, as much as time allows on the whole thing. And it goes quick. Car lines up. Or they come over there, they do whatever the burnout, they're brought up to the start line, and then they go. And while those cars are starting, the cars right behind them, they're doing their burnout. So it goes really, really fast. I'll see if I can play a video for the next one that we talk about this whole thing. But I got to tell you, folks, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. So overall message, forgetting the racing, forgetting all of this stuff, try something new and different. You never know what it's going to lead to. You never know how inspiring it could be to you. And where the potential lies. I never thought about the potential of a drag strip with the vocational side of it. It was a thought, but how that leads into the aerospace industry, never would have imagined. And all those other job description kind of things in there. Teamwork, being able to read blueprints, understanding mechanics, electrical systems, being able to work with people. A lot of that stuff is on job descriptions for a lot of companies that have got not a darn thing in the world to do with racing a car. So that's not it. The vocational aspect of this thing is far-reaching. And the fun, well, it just keeps on going. It keeps on going. All right, my friends, drive safely, drive legally, and also speak well, speak often, and live inspired. Tomato music? What do you think? Little tomato music on the out, and you get to buy a T-shirt.